And I'd like to welcome you to our technology showcase for today, where we're going to discover the right contact center and customer service processes for automation. So today we are going to take a look at what are some of the right processes that are not simple, but easier to do, or we can even call them low-hanging fruit, that's just ripe for automation. And then we're going to see a demo of how something like that will work. So I am going to introduce you to your presenter, Naresh Kathari, Senior Director, Business Development for EdgeVerve Systems. And Naresh is responsible for designing solutions that enhance customer value through the use of technology. He has over 17 years of experience in solution design, business development, program management, and client engagement. He specializes in creating solutions to enhance customer experience for many, and he's very often quoted in many national and trade publications. So it is now my pleasure to turn this event over to Naresh.
Thank you, Sherry. Good afternoon to all of you, and for folks joining from the Pacific time zone, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, thanks a lot for joining this session, and in this I will talk about some of the use cases that we have seen are good candidates for automation for customer service to enhance the overall experience for your customers, and we'll spend more time to talk about how to discover the processes that are good candidates for automation. And this discovery will be technology-driven rather than having a certain set of SMEs or actual users discovering the right processes for automation. So before that, let me first quickly introduce you to my company. Infosys is the leading technology services company with over 35 years providing software services to many leading companies across the globe. Founded in 1981, today we make over $10 billion in annual revenues and have a portfolio of over 1,100 customers across more than 50 countries. We are close to 200,000 employees from various nationalities, and we serve almost every industry and many leading clients in every industry for providing and building the right technology solutions for various business needs. While we are heavily focused on providing software solutions, the right business solution to our customers, at the same time, we do also offer enterprise products as part of our subsidiary called EdgeVerve Systems Limited. And these products essentially help solve many business needs of our customers. And one of the areas that we see where there is a huge potential to improve the overall customer experience is automating the processes which are manual in nature today and helping the customer service agents provide a faster response. And often I get a question that what are the processes that one should look at automating, especially in the contact centers or in scenarios where the agents have to work offline to resolve customer tickets. And when we look at the kind of issues that the customers face, and when they end up calling the various companies, we essentially see that there are three types of solutions that most of the agents provide while resolving such issues. And these three types of solutions can be categorized by nature of the work. The first one, and this essentially adds up to 60 or 70% of the types of queries that the agents get quite often, which is all about understanding the context of the customer's request and then applying a series of steps on various enterprise applications to solve the problem. Such processes are very standard. I would say more clerical in nature, but strictly driven by business rules. And our philosophy is very simple, that processes which are rules-driven, or in simple words, which you can document on a piece of paper and train anyone, they are the first set of processes that you should look at automating. These processes, when automated, provide operational efficiencies and at the same time increases the overall satisfaction of the customers, because now their problems, their issues are getting solved in quick time. And then there is a more complex category of processes which do require some kind of deep analysis of the issue that the customer is facing, and then using some of the past knowledge, predicting that what would have happened and what could happen if certain updates are made for either in the customer profile or for the services that the customer has purchased from your company or for the products that they have purchased from your company. These require some kind of analysis, as I said earlier, and the right approach towards solving the problem. These are set of processes where you can apply predictive kind of automation by reviewing the past instances, applying analytics, and then applying the various technologies around building correlations, predicting different models, discovering patterns, and then suggesting the right solution. And the third category of the processes are the ones which are very, very complex, which largely depends on a lot of experience that the agents may have had in the past for such complex processes, and where the decision is generally not straightforward. But once that decision is taken, then it becomes a kind of a precedent for all similar issues from the past, and then provide the right solution for the future needs. This is where the third type of automation, which is providing self-learning capabilities and a more knowledge-driven approach towards solving such problems, can really be helpful. So, in short, this is our philosophy. This is our approach, that how we can transform the entire customer service operations to drive efficiencies, to reduce cycle times, to improve the resolution rates, and ultimately lead to higher satisfaction as well as higher sales from customer service operations. And when we look at most of the processes in this space, the agents are either interacting with a lot of applications, navigating across various screens, capturing data from one application, aggregating that data, applying certain business rules, and just following a series of steps based on the manuals that they have. In short, these are very, very rules-driven processes. A lot of times, they have to toggle between multiple applications, which is all about copying data from one system or one screen and then updating it either as is or in some different format across multiple screens. We have seen in certain instances like large banks, large telco companies, that on an average, an agent spends just 15 seconds on a screen or an application during the call. While the average handle time is more than 10 minutes, that short time where they are spending less amount of time actually has a very direct impact on the overall time that they spend on the call, as well as the amount of manual work that they are doing. So this is where lies the opportunity to apply robotic automation and track all the user events, including the navigation across various screens, the keystrokes, the mouse clicks, and automate those actions. While in the past, there were limitations because of technologies, because many times when the agents work on the systems, they are all on different technologies. But the good news is that Infosys offers a solution that can help automate all of these manual steps without the need of changing underlying architecture. And we have and offer an enterprise-grade platform called Infosys NIA to automate processes of different types, different categories, which can provide a high degree of automation for various needs. There are three core components of Infosys NIA platform. The first one is the data platform, wherein one can ingest a lot of data from various sources of truth, whether it is structured, unstructured, all kinds of data can be ingested in the data platform, which also comes with OCR and natural language processing along with machine learning. And once ingested, all of that data then is used by the knowledge platform to capture and create the entire knowledge ontology of various business processes. The knowledge platform from Infosys NIA is a very powerful platform that automates a lot of work that is traditionally done manually today and can actually become the brain of the entire organization. And once you get the knowledge and the insights that how these processes should be resolved, based on the patterns and the insights that Infosys NIA offers, the automation platform can then automate many of these steps that are captured without any human intervention, and in certain scenarios also provide advanced automation techniques like predictive and cognitive automation, advanced machine learning, deep learning, and provide a high degree of automation. While Infosys NIA is a much broader platform that can address many repetitive activities in customer service operations, an important question that I get every time is that, okay, we understand that the work is done manually and the users are doing it without a lot of challenges, at least on the quality side. But yes, we do have a problem wherein sometimes the handle times are higher. Or I also get feedback around, I have optimized everything what I could, and there is no opportunity for automating further. But when I ask a few more questions around if you have optimized and automated, what is the average handle time and what you would like it to be? And the answer that I get is, well, the average handle time is around 8 minutes. I would like it to be 6 minutes. That itself contradicts that while there is a need to reduce the handle time further, but at the same time, if there is an assumption that everything is optimized and nothing more can be done, then the entire exercise of discovering the processes is generally dependent on human effort, wherein either someone will sit next to the agent, watch, document, and then come up with some kind of analysis and recommendations, or look at all the user guides and the manuals that the agents are having during the calls, and then apply the right level of automation. While this work has largely remained manual, and many times it does not answer the question of what should I automate. Infosys Assist Edge, which is the automation arm of NIA platform, offers a solution called integrated device monitoring, which can help automating the entire process of discovering the automation opportunities. It is a technology solution that would run, and something that you'll see shortly in the demo as well, non-intrusively on the user's desktop, capture all the desktop-related activities, whether it is keystrokes, mouse clicks, application usage, discover the processes that are good candidates for automation, and once discovered, then you can apply different kinds of automation to those processes. It could be assisted automation, which is nothing but providing the ability to the agents to trigger automation or demand automation based on the context instead of doing the entire process manually. Or in certain advanced scenarios wherein some of the activities are always standard, they need to be done irrespective of the nature of the call or nature of the ticket. End-to-end robotics can be applied to complete the set of activities without human intervention. And then, of course, there are scenarios where a combination of both assisted as well as unassisted automation needs to be applied to get the high degree of automation. We also offer a solution for providing automated responses to the customers over the chat platform. And the chat bots essentially provide intelligent responses using NLP and capturing the entire context of the conversations, applying the right techniques, applying machine learning, deep learning, and providing the right responses back to the customers. But going back to the important question that, yes, there are automations of different kinds. Where should I start? Which are the right processes for automation? We suggest a very simple but structured approach to identify the automation opportunities, which is apply a solution that captures user keystrokes and mouse clicks across all enterprise applications that the agent or the user uses while serving your customer needs. Capture that knowledge and relate it with your top call drivers to discover the processes using either simple analytics or machine learning techniques. The third step is when this entire knowledge is captured, reuse some of the recordings, whether it is in the form of keystrokes or mouse clicks, and use those recordings to automatically build the processes. which will reduce the amount of time to build automations for such processes. And then continuously run the processes in the right environment and have the right feedback, reconfigure the business rules, and automate more. So in short, this four-step process, which is very structured, can help automate the various activities right from the first set of activities to discover the processes for automation. Let me provide you a quick demo of the solution that Infosys offers and how easy it is to capture the data and how easy it is also for the admins to configure what kind of data should be captured and then look at the various reports that are generated from this data. So I will shift from this PowerPoint presentation to the actual demo. In the meantime, if there are any questions, I can take one or two questions while this comes up. The discovery solution called Infosys Assist and the module Integrated Device Monitoring runs seamlessly on user desktop. It captures various activities which are all configurable and generate insights for the operation users to look at the various patterns. Here is an example where the discovery solution, IDM, was applied on the user desktop for a very small contact center. And of course, there were not many calls coming in for this center. And this is the kind of metrics that was captured automatically by IDM, and it provided rich insights to the operations supervisors. A high-level view of the amount of total time when the users were actually available and logged on to their desktops. Overall, out of 413 hours, they spent 385 hours on productive applications. Since this entire center was running by shifts, on an average, 1.6 hours were spent by the user per day. And out of that, the applications which were categorized as applications for business purpose, the productive hours added up to 1.5 hours per day. And then there is an insight on the keystrokes per user per hour. And you can see that the count of keystrokes close to 1,000 per hour was significantly higher. And if you include the mouse clicks, that will provide the right insight into how the users were using the various applications. The first metric is all about the productive hours. And while there are many other solutions that captures number of calls and the amount of time that the users are spending on the call, this insight actually captures the actual work that is done by the users and provides a view on a percentage of the productive time that the users are spending on applications for solving customer issues. The last one is which are the applications that are more frequently used. There are various metrics that will provide a view on which set of users are spending time on different kinds of applications. The most important metric from IDM, Sorry, did I click? The most important metric from Infosys IDM is this, that what is the average time that the agents are spending per application? This is a very important insight for two reasons. Number one, that for most of the calls, the agents are spending very less time on one application, which directly means that they are toggling between different applications during the same call. And then the application usage is also in seconds. And if I have to do a deep dive that where the users are actually spending time and do a deeper deep dive analysis, I can see that there are a lot of times where the users are spending time on copy-paste activities, and which in turn are the right areas which one should look at automating. So this was a quick view of the various metrics that are available out of Infosys Integrated Device Monitoring, IDM, and the insights that IDM can generate from the various activities performed by the user. Let me also show you a view of what the admins can configure and capture the data from IDM. This is the admin view of IDM, and here are different types of data that the users or the admins can select to be tracked for the users. So for the applications, I can configure to track all of these events, like which are the types of applications that are used and what is the time that every user is spending on different applications. I can configure the various events that I would like to capture, which is all about mouse clicks, keystrokes, the various actions that are performed by the user. This insight helps provide the right way of capturing the knowledge about the process, the various path that is taken by the user, and to build the entire process map for a particular type of issue that the agent is solving. Let me provide you a good example of how for one of the large banks who applied this automated discovery solution to capture the various parts that were taken by the agents for resolving queries of the customers related to credit cards, and what was the insight that the bank derived from IDM. So let me go back to the slide and talk more about this example. IDM was deployed for the agents in the contact center space for credit card issues, as I mentioned earlier. And one of the interesting outcome was that while the process documents and the user documents that were available to the agents, they showed that most of the times the users would follow only a set pattern. But what IDM captured was a completely different view and a pattern than what was either reported or was documented. And as we also understand that many times the context is very, very important, and agents take different paths based on the nature of the call and the nature of the request that they get from the customers. So instead of having someone sit next to the agent and watch the various steps that they're taking and relying on a few samples, IDM can capture all of such scenarios, all of the variations, and provide a view on which are the right processes that are manual in nature and what should be automated first. In the past 8 years or so, we have automated over 10,000 processes for many companies. At this point of time, over 75 million transactions being automated using Infosys Assist-Edge solution. And globally, there are over 400,000 users where Assist-Edge is helping discovering the processes for automation, automating the manual work that is done by the agents, be it the contact centers or in the back office centers when they are working to resolve the tickets, and helping improve the overall cycle time, the resolution rates, and also helping realize high operational savings for the companies. So these were some of the examples that I wanted to share, along with a quick demo of the solution and how the Infosys platform provides a more holistic approach towards driving enterprise-grade automation, enterprise-wide automation, and maximize the savings for our customers. And since we are also one of the leading companies, especially to provide the software services, when it comes to an end-to-end integrated offering, the product provides very robust capability to cater to different types of automation needs, starting from deterministic ones to the cognitive ones, and where AI and machine learning is applied. And it is well complemented by our services unit, which also brings in a lot of domain expertise. The scale across many countries, along with innovative staffing models, which can bring down the entire TCO to run large automation programs. This is a very proven platform applied enterprise-wide in most of the implementations. And when we look at the knowledge and the domain expertise that Infosys brings in as one company, along with all the related activities like configurations and support and implementations with a robust product, it provides a very low TCO, but with a high degree of automation to not just realize business savings, but also have a very direct impact on some of the customer service satisfaction scores. So these were some of our success stories that I wanted to share in this call today. And I know that there are a few questions which are out there. I'm more than happy to take all the questions one at a time.
Okay, thank you, Naresh. And any questions that you have, you can put into the Q&A section. And here's our first question. Should I always start with desktop and keystroke analysis before automating a process?
Sherry, I get this question so often. And The answer is no. You did not start with desktop analytics or IDM if you are looking at automating. If you already have the data and I would say a high level of confidence that these are the automation opportunities and these are the patterns that we see, you can directly start with automation. But for many processes where information is not available, IDM should be applied because that will give you a head start to automate some of the processes which have not yet been discovered. In my experience, for the last 8 years, I would say 50% of the times, or rather I would say 60% of the times, companies have started directly automating processes because some level of data does exist. But for 40% of the remaining ones, IDM should be the right way to start discovering the processes for automation before investing on automations.
Okay. You showed some insights with some visuals. Now, how is that automated? How are those insights? Is that possible how do you automate that?
IDM, as I did cover in the demo, provides the capability to the admins to configure what kind of data that the product should capture from the user's desktop, or rather the agent's desktop. Whether you would like to capture all the keystrokes, mouse clicks, application names, application screens, the different elements on that application. Once that data is captured, there are out-of-box reports that are available, and I showed a few of them, which can provide patterns and insights based on the user-level data. For certain processes where a deeper analysis is required, IDM does provide the ability to either apply machine learning or build custom reports by integrating with other data. The short answer, Sherry, is that all of the data is available with quite a few out-of-box reports. This is not sampling of data because IDM is running 24/7 on user's desktop. And any custom views can be configured based on the business need.
Okay. And I'm sure you get this question a lot as well, which is kind of what happens with the workforce? So in the contact center, if you're looking at things that are very rote and can be kind of boring for the agent, and that's the type of thing that you look to automate, then what do you do with that workforce? Or what have you seen happen? Are they reduced? Are they put in other areas or departments where the work's a little more interesting? What happens with the workforce?
Yes, Sherry. I have got this question quite often, and the short answer is that the agents in the contact center, they are looking for good solutions, which should be automated. So in a way, while they have been doing this work manually, but the expectation was always there that this kind of manual work should go away. And then use the time to either engage with the customer and help with cross-sell or upsell activities, so which is all about creating more bandwidth to the agents. And of course, with more time saved, there are opportunities which wherein you can always have the agents restaffed for other business needs. We have seen that especially in sectors where automation is applied, the savings are there, but at the same time, the freed up capacity is used to generate more business value for the companies rather than reducing the workforce.
Okay, good. Let's see. How does your solution or anything that's, I guess, automated like this handle sensitive data?
Sensitive data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So one important point, and I should have clarified that in the demo also, is that while IDM is capturing the various screens, the keystrokes, the mouse clicks, and different events, but it is not capturing the actual data that the agents are accessing or using during the call, whether it is the credit card or some other sensitive data like SSN numbers. So IDM does not capture such data. It does not capture any data. What it does capture is that, yes, if someone copied the credit card from one screen and entered into another screen, it will capture the event as copied from one screen and copied the credit card data to another screen. But it will not capture what was the credit card number. So any issues around sensitive data or even non-sensitive data is actually not applicable for IDM because it is not, first of all, capturing that data, neither storing that data anywhere.
Okay. Let's see. Here's a question. How much data do I need to capture for a true analysis?
We recommend, and of course that is subject to IDM deployed in environments where there is good data on a daily basis. We suggest IDM to be deployed at least for a period of 2 weeks to capture any meaningful insights from the data. And of course, that also ties with the amount of transactions per day, which should ideally be in the range of 20 to 30% of the work that is currently being done today and which companies are looking to automate.
Okay. Let's see. That seems to be all the questions that we have. So if you'd like to just take 1 minute and kind of wrap up on just summarizing some of the most important items that you reviewed today.
Sure, Sherry. So what I would like to suggest and advise everyone is that there are many tools in the market today that claim to provide robotic automation. And the reality is that, yes, there are quite a few tools out there, and most of them would provide some degree of automation. But discovering the right processes for automation is the most critical and the most important step to start your automation journey. And that automation journey should not start with a handful of data or just a sample of scenarios. And that activity should not be manual. IDM provides the right technology solution to capture 100% scenarios, 100% data, and automatically generate an insights to provide a view on the right opportunities for automation. It helps bring the overall TCO of your enterprise automation program reduce significantly, along with providing a high degree of automation.
Okay, thank you. And we hope this webcast gave you a couple of ideas. Let's see, do you have a contact information slide after this? What's the best way to reach out to you? I think you can go one more slide. There you go. Okay, there's some contact information. If you have any further questions or any questions that were very specific that we did not get to, you can contact Naresh. There's his email, his cell phone, very reachable, and that seems to be all that we have for this webcast. So thank you to EdgeVerve, Infosys. Thank you, Naresh, for helping us think through some ideas that we can automate and for showing what you're able to do with your solutions. Thank you, everyone that attended this afternoon. The recording will be available in about 24 hours. We will send you a link if you'd like to listen to this recording and download the slides. And at this point, we will be closing this webcast. Thank you all.